Hello stars, this is Luminousz Star. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to another vlog day. Okay, so I'm going to be going over a few points as well as a few tools. Mind the description box below for more details. I think I mentioned that, but anyway, mind the description box below for those details such as the recipe or the menu. And I just thought that I would go ahead and take this time out to discuss a few things with you. A lot of narcissists and cluster B personalities, if you're not careful, they will take up a lot of your time. You're feeling drained of energy because they are wanting your attention 100% of the time, while they don't give anything but a lot of shenanigans, drama, and chaos. Okay, they are very good with that. But when it comes to investing in you, the narcissist and cluster B personality, this is where they fail tremendously. The narcissist and cluster B personality, if you're not careful, they will not only drain you of your energy, but they will drain you of your finances. Just think about all the times that you've gotten a gift for him or her during Christmas, okay, Thanksgiving, or New Year's, or even their birthday. How appreciative were they? Right, they were not very appreciative. They had something to complain about. They were fault finding, and it's supposed to be a happy occasion. But the narcissist and cluster B personality, they usually like to rain on other people's parade. So if you're not careful, not only will you be drained of energy, but you will be drained of finances. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they're very notorious for financially abusing others, especially if this is a spouse. So think about all the times that you spend with the narcissist and cluster B personality. Is it very fun? Probably not. In the beginning it may be fun, but you ever notice how it turns into an argument? A lot of the drama starts because the narcissist and cluster B personality, they start pulling shenanigans. So instead of spending a lot of time and money as well as energy in the narcissist, ask yourself, how productive are you being? Now, I'm not saying that to put you down. Really, think about it. When you are investing in someone who doesn't invest in you, how productive is that? Not only that, is it really loving yourself? Okay, you're not loving yourself enough if you like to spend time around somebody who fault finds all the time, who pulls shenanigans. Really think about it. When you think about it, all of the time that you spend investing in the narcissist and the cluster B personality, he or she is pulling shenanigans. It's almost like you're on it's a burning house. You're on one side with the firing hose trying to put the fire out. The narcissist and the cluster B personality, they're on the other side of the house and they have the gasoline and they're pouring it on. Both of you are on each side of the house and you're putting your all into that burning house, whether to keep the house on fire or trying to keep the house from burning down. Okay? Probably you're the one that's trying to keep the house from burning down, while the narcissist is doing everything he or she can to burn that house down. Just think about it. All right, so when you put all of that into perspective and when you put all of that into context, really, you're wasting a lot of time, energy, and money trying to salvage a relationship or trying to have a relationship that's really toxic and dysfunctional. And the narcissist likes it that way. So try not to waste a lot of time and energy and money on the narcissist, because he or she only wants that relationship to be dysfunctional because they're looking out after the false self-image. No one and nothing else. The false self-image comes first. I want to talk about how the narcissist and cluster personality, a lot of the times, they don't want you to move on because they haven't moved on. They stay in the past, okay? And they want you to be focused on your past. The past, the part of your past that's traumatic, the part of your past that hurts, the things that haunt you. See, that's what the narcissist and the cluster personality wants you to continue to focus on, so they can feed their false self-image. See, this is how the narcissist and the cluster personality thrives and survives. They need the compliance of other people. Focused on their past, it's because they want them to continue to supply him or her. Because otherwise, the narcissist and cluster personality, their false self-image will not survive. So they don't want you to move on because they haven't moved on. The narcissist and cluster personality, they stay focused on their past, even if they're not conscious to it. Now, one way that they do this is they will reenact a traumatic past or a part of their past that's very painful, but they're denying that it's painful. It's a part of their past that they want to forget. It could be that they have a love-hate relationship with their mother. They're distant from their father, or what have you. A lot of things could be going on in the narcissist's past that really is haunting him or her. It's very painful to him or her. Okay? It's a sore spot for him or her. Yet they will deny it. So in order for their false self-image to be supplied, they want you to stay focused on your past. Because as long as you're hurt, as long as you're angry, as long as you feel stuck in life, as long as you're being traumatized, then their false self-image survives. They continue to tap into your energy field. Energy, emotion is energy in motion. So when you're feeling sad, angry, disappointed, or whatever, whatever unpleasant emotion that you can think of, the narcissist and cluster personality, they're right there to feed off of that. You ever wonder why they try to get you to focus on your past so much? The part of your past that's not very happy? Again, because your emotions is energy. Okay? It's moving. It's flowing. Everything is vibrating in the universe, in the cosmos, in the galaxy. There's living organisms. Everything is vibrating. Okay? So that includes you and me. So when we feel emotions, when we express emotions, and we experience emotions, this is energy. So when this is happening, the narcissist and cluster personality, they're right there to feed off of that. Okay? So this is why they want you to stay focused on your past. A past that's very painful to you. A past that you may even be haunted by. So very often, the cluster personality, they don't want you to move forward because it threatens their false self-image. It's a challenge to their false self-image. When you are attempting to thrive forward, when you're putting your past to rest, okay, this is a challenge to him or her. When you think about it, the narcissist and cluster personality, they don't like to take responsibility for how they showed up in anyone's life. They don't like to take responsibility, yet alone acknowledge what they've done in the relationship to maybe cause or influence others to feel unpleasant emotions, such as sadness and anger. The narcissist and cluster personality, just from my own experience, I can think about all the times that they will pull shenanigans. And in my case, I remember a particular cluster B that they wasn't happy This person was not happy until or unless they saw that I wasn't happy. Okay, it could be something that they did or said. But that often used to have me pondering and wondering, well, why would that person be happy if I wasn't happy? If this is supposed to be a loving, healthy relationship. I said because this person wasn't trying to have a loving, healthy relationship. Okay, that wasn't important to them. Yeah, it wasn't very important to this person to have a healthy relationship with me. For one thing, because they were not equipped to have it. They didn't have the tools. They didn't know how. Now, this is not me making excuses for them or defending that person. I'm simply saying, as I grew up, and when the years went by, and when I started working my support base, I began to see how this person, they were not equipped to have a healthy relationship with anyone. Now, the people that they seemed to get along with were people who were on drugs. I'm just going to keep it real. They were on drugs. They were drinking alcohol. They were very promiscuous. Now, I'm not judging. I'm just simply painting a picture for you. These are the type of people that this particular cluster B personality that I was involved with, okay, this is the type of people that they got along with. And even some of those individuals, they stabbed in the back. We get caught up in why this person doesn't seem to have a healthy relationship with us. And sometimes we feel like we're the only ones that this is going on, okay? But it's not. There's so many other people that this person is not having a healthy relationship with. There are others that the narcissist and cluster B personality could be having relationships with. See, a cluster B personality and a narcissist, they can have relationships with other people. Matter of fact, they can have a lot of relationships. Okay, but they're usually toxic. They're usually dysfunctional. They're not healthy at all. Okay, and a lot of the times, these individuals that are in cahoots with the narcissist and cluster B personality, they're enablers. They're flying monkeys. Okay, this does not mean that they're having a healthy, happy relationship. Now, one of the things that I experienced was feeling alienated, especially when it seemed like that particular cluster B personality that I had a relationship with in the past, they were getting along with other people. But as I stated, these other people, their characters were very questionable, okay? Very faulty and questionable characters. And at that time, I wasn't really looking at that, because I was interested in having a relationship with this particular cluster B personality. But what I found out was that, and this was years later, was that that was impossible. Not because I was a bad person, not because I wasn't enough. However, it's because that person didn't have the tools. They didn't have the tools to have the healthy relationship. And you know what? I didn't either. How about that one? I didn't have the tools, because I would not have been involved with that person had I had the tools to have a healthy relationship. So sometimes when we're looking at the cluster B personality and the narcissist, okay, it's a good idea to ask the critical question. What state of mind am I in? What's going on in my life? Okay, this is just an example of the critical questions, especially when you're pondering over why you and this particular cluster B personality didn't have a healthy relationship. Why you and this particular narcissist didn't have a healthy relationship. Sometimes, you know, when you're pondering over why you and a particular narcissist wasn't having a healthy relationship, especially when it seems like they were getting along with other people. They were not really getting along with other people. You know, not with people who can have healthy relationships. Well, here's a secret for you. It wasn't that the narcissist and the cluster B personality loved and cared for others so much that they could get along with them. It was because these other people were enablers, or they were flying monkeys. Okay, these people also had questionable characteristics. They were not very secure within themselves. In other words, there was something going on, whereas they portrayed themselves as people not having the equipment or the tools to have a healthy relationship. So they also lacked the ability to have a healthy relationship, just like the narcissist, okay? So that's why they were involved with the narcissist. And this is why I was involved with the cluster B personality at that time. I didn't have the tools to have a healthy relationship. At first, it was very tough for me to realize this. And that's because the cluster B personality that I was dealing with was very flamboyant, flashy, all about the image. You know, it took me a little while to understand this about the cluster B personality that I was dealing with. Oh, real quick, I just wanted to show you all my quinoa. I had a batch done yesterday, and that's what's left over. So I'm just going to add that to my vegetables here, and then I'm going to add my bacon. Okay, let me turn on my stove. Now what I have in here is the grease from the bacon. Now the oil that I use to prepare the bacon is coconut oil. That started. Now, one of the things that used to bother me about the cluster B personality that I was dealing with is that this person went out of their way, seemingly went out of their way to make it seem like I was the problem in the relationship. Now, granted, when I look back on it, I take full responsibility for my part in that relationship, which led us to going in different directions. I take full responsibility. But the ironic thing is that that person never took responsibility, not to my knowledge. I don't know where they are today. However, the last time I did see this person was a few years ago. And they continued to remain in the past. Okay, and this is why I say the narcissist and the cluster B personality, they don't want you to move on from the past because they haven't moved on from the past. What they do sometimes is they will blame you for the poor choices that they made in the past. The things that they have done that led up to you and that person growing in different directions, or going in different, I like to say growing in different directions, because we're all growing. You know, as we thrive forward, we're growing. Some of us are growing at a snail's pace, okay? And some of us are growing a little bit quicker than others. But the bottom line is this: I took full responsibility, and I still do take full responsibility for my part in that relationship that led us up to growing or going in different directions. Because now I understand that that had to be the case. It had to unfold that way in order for me to grow. I can't speak for that cluster B personality. However, I can speak for myself. And I say this: I take full responsibility for my part. And it was just very, it was very disappointing to learn that this individual, they remained in the past. And not only that, they never took full responsibility for their part of the relationship, okay, that led us to going in different directions. One of the things that I learned was that if I wasn't careful, the cluster B personality would influence me to remain in the sunken place and to remain focused on the past. Therefore, I was still living in the past. I was being influenced to remain in the sunken place. And part of that was my fault. Part of that I was totally responsible for. It really wasn't the narcissist doing. He or she could only influence, okay? Narcissists and cluster B personalities They can influence and they can attempt to obtain source supply, but they need others to comply. Okay, they need the compliance of others. And this is what I learned quite some time ago. Yeah, so the cluster B personality, they don't want you to move forward. They're not moving forward, regardless of how everything looks. They may have come into a little bit more money. They may live in a different location. They may have a career. See, don't let any of that fool you. The cluster B personality and the narcissist, they like to stay in the past and they want everybody else around him or her to do the same. This way, their false self-image feeds. Their false self-image thrives. Their false self-image survives. Okay, they're loyal to their false self-image. Nobody else is very important to the narcissist or the cluster B personality. As long as I was staying focused on my past, then the cluster B personality that I was dealing with, they were feeling all right in the relationship, even though the relationship was very toxic, okay, very dysfunctional. And this is one of the things, again, that I learned, because the cluster B personality and the narcissist, they seem to get along with certain people, and at that time, I couldn't really understand what that was about. I really couldn't understand why. So one of the things to be mindful of is the cluster B personality and the narcissist. They want other people to stay focused on the past because that's where they are. The cluster B personality and narcissist, they must be the center of your world. So in order for them to be the center of your world, you have to be where they are, and that is in the past. You know, one of the things that helped me to continue to thrive forward was to stay focused on what's important to me in life, not only in my relationships, but in life. What's important? Was it important for me to continue to be in a relationship with someone who was on drugs, who drank too much, who was very promiscuous, and who had a very jaded sense of themselves, me and others? Was that really the purpose of my life? No. So these were some of the things that I was thinking about. When I started asking myself some very critical questions, that was very tough. I really didn't want to deal with certain things, such as taking off the rose-colored glasses. Let's go over the tools. Tool number 1, discontinue making excuses for why you can't thrive forward. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they will fault find. And more than likely, while he or she is fault finding, your confidence and your self-esteem is taking a hit. So this is going to make it even more compelling as to why you cannot thrive forward. A person doesn't like to be rejected. I get it. So the narcissist and cluster B personality, as they are fault finding, a person tends to feel rejected. When a person is being rejected, he or she is going to find all the reasons why he or she is not good enough for something good, like love, money, health, wealth, whatever you can think of that may be good. More than likely, a person will think that they're not deserving of those things, such as a great relationship. The narcissist and cluster personality, again, when they are fault finding, a person's confidence level tends to go down, just like their self-esteem tends to lag. So that makes it even more compelling as to why you cannot thrive forward. I'm here to let you know that there's a way to counter against that. All right? First of all, start by journaling. Okay, this is one of the tools that I usually go over in other videos, but this is still tool number 1. This is how you can counteract or counter when the narcissist starts to fault find. Start thinking of why you do deserve a great relationship. Journal it. Write it down. Take a tape recorder and start speaking that. Hear yourself say that you deserve a great life. Tool number 2, build and work your support base. A lot of my stars already know how much I talk about that support base and how important it really is. You're going to really need that constructive outlet to express what's going on with you. When the narcissist and cluster personality is doing everything he or she can to take up all your time, drain you of your energy and maybe your finances, and all the while they're tearing you down. You're going to need that constructive outlet. Take it from me. I know this personally. You're going to need that support base, and it is a game changer. So tool number 2 again is to build and work that support base. So what does the architect do? They draw up the blueprint first before they actually build the building. Do the support base, but draw up the blueprint before you start to work your support base. How do you do that? Look at where you are right now. How are you in your health, your wealth? How do your finances look? How is your credit? I mean, all these things. Look at where you are, not only by your finances, but look at where you are health-wise. Where are you? Where are you spiritually? Where are you mentally? Where are you psychologically? Where are you emotionally? Okay, where are you? How are you doing today, basically? Are you coming out of your comfort zone? Are you placing yourself in situations where you have a great chance of meeting other people that you resonate with? This is a tough one. I understand. However, are you doing this? Are you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone just a little bit, and you're putting yourself in situations whereas you can have that support base? A support base is not just going to the counselor, going to the doctor, going to a mentor or a life coach. It's not just that. A support base can consist of having fun, going somewhere and actually having fun. That's a part of your foundation of your support base. But before you do that, you have to draw the blueprint. Where are you today? What can you handle? What are you comfortable with right now? What are you comfortable with coming out of the comfort zone about? Okay, I know that's kind of tricky right there. You're comfortable, but what areas of your life are you willing right now to come out of that comfort zone? For instance, do you usually go to a particular grocery store? Do you usually go to a particular store? Okay, what about switching it up? That's how you can come out of that comfort zone. You're comfortable with going to certain places, right? But how comfortable are you right now to come out of that comfort zone, to expand a little? When you are growing, your support base is expanding. Tool number 3, invest in your own life instead of the narcissist. Okay, because the narcissist and cluster personality, they've already been doing what they have to do in order to obtain the supply from you and everyone else. They've been taking care of their business. They have been loyal to their false self-image. Okay, so what are you doing right now to invest in your life instead of the narcissist's life? Just, I mean, even if you have to make a list, then make this a part of your journaling process. Make a list of what you're doing right now that you're happy about, where that says, okay, I'm investing in my life. All right, so that works for me. It's a game changer. Frozen. Set that out. Check my cupcakes. Okay, last and final tool. Take steps to change your perspective on your situation and your circumstances. Okay, now this one is a tough one, especially when you're super focused on the narcissist and the dysfunctional relationship. That takes a lot of your time. That takes a lot of your attention, and the narcissist likes it that way. You're not going to have time. When you're in the throes of the relationship, you're not going to take the time out for yourself and look at this in a different perspective. What am I talking about? Your situation, your circumstances. You're in a dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and a cluster personality. How are you looking at that? How does that feel to you? What do you really think about that? So just take small steps to change your perspective on your situation and your circumstances. The situation may be that you're in a dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and cluster personality. However, You may have children with him or her. That's your circumstance. That's your situation. What do you look at? What are you looking at? How is that looking to you? How does that feel to you? And what do you think about it? All right. What is the solution? How are you being your best problem solver? So take the steps to change your perspective, because the way you're looking at that is the way that you're going to go about resolving the issue or not resolving the issue. Okay, for instance, if you're comfortable in that situation because the circumstances are something that you're very familiar with, that is being in a dysfunctional relationship with a cluster B personality or a narcissist. Again, the situation is you have children with him or her, or you're married to him or her, or you have a lot of deep feelings, romantic feelings for him or her. It could be any of those things or all of those things. How are you perceiving that? How are you looking at it? And how are you problem solving? What are you thinking about it? Okay, so take steps to change your perspective. 9 times out of 10 chances, the way you're dealing or not dealing with that situation and those circumstances is the way that you're perceiving it. It's a match. It correlates. So if you're looking at that situation and circumstance, that is being in a dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality, you're looking at it in a particular way because you feel a particular way about it and you're thinking a particular way about it. It all correlates. So when you're looking at the dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality and it feels familiar, you're comfortable in it, so you're deep in the sunken place, 9 times out of 10 chances it's because you perceive all of it in a particular way. It's very familiar to you. You can even go back to your childhood, and maybe this is very familiar, this whole dynamic of being in a dysfunctional relationship. So when you shift your perspective, then things will start to happen. More than likely for your benefit, and if you have children, for their benefit as well. So take small steps to change your perspective on your situation and your circumstances. Now, one of the ways that you can start doing that is asking critical questions. Question number 1, what is the purpose of this relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality? Once you answer that question, which is quite a game changer, take it from me. I've done this personally. Game changer. Once you answer that question, then you will not have to repeat that scenario. What's the scenario? The scenario is investing in a dysfunctional relationship with a cluster B personality and or narcissist. When you answer that question, what is the purpose of that relationship? You will not have to repeat that scenario, which is very painful because you've learned the lesson.
Incubator of life. Through our lines